Welcome back to the channel. Rarest Coins. Today's video is about one of the most talked about coins in US numismatic history. It's a coin that looks completely ordinary to the untrained eye, but has caused a lot of excitement among collectors and treasure hunters. We're talking about the 1965 Washington quarter. Most people see it as just another quarter, but a very rare version of this coin has reportedly sold for as much as $1.9 million. Yes, you heard that right. A 25-cent coin that you might have sitting in a change jar, inside your glove box, or hidden in an old piggy bank could be worth more than a luxury home. In this video, we're going to explore the complete story of the 1965 quarter. We'll dive into its history, what makes it different from other quarters, why some of them are incredibly valuable, and how to tell if you have one of the ultra-rare examples. Let's start with the history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features a profile of Washington on the obverse side and an eagle on the reverse. This classic design was used until the late 1990s. But something major changed in 1965, and it completely changed the story of the Washington quarter. Before 1965, U.S. quarters were made of 90% silver and 10% copper. But due to rising silver prices and a nationwide coin shortage, the U.S. Mint made the decision to remove silver from quarters starting in 1965. From that year on, quarters were made with a copper-nickel clad composition, which is what we still use today. Now here's where things get interesting. 1965 was a transition year. It was the first year that silver was no longer supposed to be used in quarter production. But during that shift, a very small number of quarters were mistakenly struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These transitional errors are extremely rare. If you happen to find a 1965 quarter that was actually made of silver, then you may be looking at a 1 in a billion type of coin. And that's where the huge value comes in. One such 1965 quarter, struck on a 90% silver planchet, in pristine condition and professionally graded, was reportedly sold at auction for an incredible $1.9 million. That kind of value is almost unheard of for a modern-looking coin. But this one checked every box that collectors dream about. Let's break down why it was worth so much. First, it was a true mint error. The coin was supposed to be clad, but it was struck on a silver planchet left over from the previous year. This is what numismatists call a transitional error, and it's one of the most valuable types of mint mistakes. Second, the coin was in nearly flawless condition. It had been preserved perfectly, showing no signs of circulation or damage. When it was graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC, it received a high mint state grade, which drove the value even higher. Third, the coin had been authenticated and certified. This means experts confirmed that the coin was genuine, that the silver content was real, and that the mint error actually happened. With all of those factors combined, the coin became a must-have for top collectors, and when it went up for auction, the bidding went through the roof. Now the big question is this: could you be holding one of these rare 1965 silver quarters? Here's how to find out. Start by checking the date. Make sure the coin says 1965. This is printed on the obverse side, just under George Washington's neck. Then look at the edge of the coin. Most 1965 quarters are clad, which means you should see a visible copper-colored line running through the edge of the coin. If you don't see that copper edge and the coin appears silver all the way through, that's your first clue. Next, weigh the coin. A standard 1965 copper-nickel clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter, on the other hand, weighs around 6.25 grams. That difference is small but noticeable with an accurate digital scale. If your 1965 quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you might have something very special. You should also listen to the sound it makes. Silver coins have a higher pitched, ringing tone when dropped gently on a hard surface. Clad coins have a duller sound. This isn't as reliable as a scale, but it's an old-school trick used by many collectors. And finally, if you suspect you have a 1965 silver quarter, get it authenticated. Send it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will verify whether your coin is silver, grade its condition, and provide you with a certification that can dramatically increase its market value. Now let's talk about the different values for 1965 quarters, depending on condition and rarity. A regular 1965 clad quarter, in circulated condition, is worth face value. Just 25 cents. An uncirculated 1965 quarter in mint state 63 to 65 might be worth between $5 and $20 at mint state 67 or higher. Values can jump to $50 or more depending on collector demand, but a 1965 quarter struck on a silver planchet can be worth thousands. And in a rare, certified, high-grade case, it can be worth over $1 million. And as we mentioned earlier, The most famous 1965 silver quarter sold for a reported $1.9 million, making it one of the most valuable modern U.S. coins ever discovered. So what does this mean for you? It means that even in your everyday pocket change, there could be hidden treasures waiting to be discovered. The 1965 Washington quarter might not look flashy or rare, but under the right conditions, it could be one of the most valuable coins you'll ever come across. Whether you're a serious collector or just someone who enjoys the thrill of the hunt, this is your reminder to always check your change. The rarest finds often come from the most ordinary places. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content on rare coins, valuable finds, and fascinating stories from the world of numismatics. Drop a comment below and let us know if you've ever found a rare coin or what you're hoping to discover in your own collection. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and never underestimate the power of pocket change. Let me know if you'd like a condensed script for YouTube Shorts, a video description with keywords for SEO, a title and thumbnail, idea, voiceover, pacing suggestions, or visual prompts for editing. I am happy to help you make this video as successful as possible. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are diving deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and we're focusing on one coin that might be hiding in plain sight. It's a coin that millions of people have touched, spent, or saved without ever realizing its true potential value. We're talking about the 1981 P. Washington quarter, a simple 25-cent piece that, in one incredibly rare case, has reportedly sold for an unbelievable $1.5 million. Yes, you heard that right. A coin that was minted for everyday use, one that most people would never even think twice about, has turned into one of the most talked about high-value finds in American coin history. In this video, we'll uncover the full story behind the 1981 P quarter, its history, what makes it valuable, how to spot rare versions, and what you need to look for if you think you might have one in your collection. So let's start with a little history. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design features a portrait of Washington on the front, created by sculptor John Flanagan, and the reverse side, up until 1998, featured a powerful eagle clutching a bundle of arrows. That design became an American classic and was minted for over 60 years before the state quarters program began in 1999. Now the year 1981 falls squarely within the classic era of Washington quarters. During that year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 600 million quarters. These coins all have a small P on the obverse side, to the right of Washington's ponytail, indicating that they were minted in Philadelphia. With such a high mintage, you might be wondering how a coin like this could ever be worth more than $1, let alone over $1 million. That's where the rare factors come in. While most 1981 P quarters are still only worth face value, a very small number of them were struck with mint errors or have features that make them incredibly rare. One such coin, in absolutely pristine condition and with a confirmed major mint error, was reportedly sold at a private auction for an astonishing $1.5 million. Let's take a closer look at what made that particular coin so valuable. First, it was struck on the wrong planchet. In other words, the coin was accidentally struck on a metal blank mint for a different denomination. Some rare error coins from 1981 were mistakenly struck on planchets intended for nickels or even foreign coins. These types of errors are extremely rare and are considered highly collectible, especially when confirmed by a professional grading service. Second, the coin was in nearly perfect condition. It was graded by a top-tier service like PCGS or NGC as mint state 68 or higher. To put that into perspective, most coins from 1981 that you find today have been in circulation for decades. They're scratched, worn, and often dinged from years of use. But the coin that sold for $1.5 million looked as if it had just left the mint that day. It had full luster, razor-sharp details, and absolutely no visible flaws. Coins in that condition are rare to begin with, but when combined with a dramatic mint error, the value can skyrocket. Third, there was the demand. High-end collectors and investors are always looking for one-of-a-kind items. When a rare error coin in top condition is authenticated and put up for sale, it attracts serious attention. In the case of this 1981 P quarter, two collectors reportedly went head-to-head in a private auction, driving the final price up to that incredible $1.5 million figure. Now the big question is, could you have one of these rare coins? The answer is yes, but finding one requires a sharp eye and a little knowledge. Here's what to look for. Start by checking the mint mark. Look for the small letter P on the front of the coin, just to the right of Washington's hair ribbon. That confirms it was made at the Philadelphia Mint. Next, look closely for any signs of a mint error. You may notice doubling in the letters or numbers, which could indicate a double die strike. Check for off-center designs, missing elements, or a strange texture or color that could point to a wrong metal blank. A planchet error could cause the coin to look slightly different in weight or thickness compared to normal quarters. After that, examine the overall condition. If the coin looks worn, has scratches, or lacks detail, it is most likely a circulated coin worth face value. But if your coin still has that original shine, sharp edges, and no visible damage, you could be looking at something much more valuable. If you believe you might have a rare 1981 P quarter, the next step is to get it authenticated and graded. PCGS and NGC are the two most respected grading services in the industry. Once your coin is certified, its value becomes much easier to determine. A certified coin with a verified mint error in top condition can be sold at auction, often for thousands of dollars. Or in the rarest cases, like the one we're talking about today, over $1 million. So what are the real-world values for 1981 P quarters today? A regular 1981 P quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents. An uncirculated 1981 P quarter in mint state 63 to 65 might be worth around $2 to $5 in mint state 67. You could be looking at values between $50 and $100 depending on the market. At MS 68 or higher, the value jumps significantly, and with the right mint error, it could sell for thousands. And the rarest known 1981 P quarter, with a major planchet error in top-tier condition, reportedly reached the incredible price of $1.5 million. This shows us just how unpredictable and exciting coin collecting can be. A coin that was once meant for everyday purchases can, under the right circumstances, become a life-changing treasure. So, if you've got a jar of quarters at home or some old change hiding in a drawer, take a few minutes to look through them. You never know, your next quarter might be worth a whole lot more than 25 cents. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content about rare coins, hidden treasures, and the amazing stories behind everyday currency. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're going to start checking your change a little more closely from now on. Until next time, keep searching, stay curious, and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like a shorter version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok, a written YouTube video description with SEO keywords, title, and thumbnail ideas to grab attention, a version with visuals or scene suggestions for editing. I can help with all of that. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to take a deep dive into a coin that millions of Americans have handled, spent, or tossed into a change jar without a second thought. I'm talking about the 1998 P Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin seems like any other quarter you'd find in your spare change. But what if I told you that one rare version of this coin has been reported to sell for as much as $1.2 million? That's right. $1.25 in your hand might actually be worth more than a brand new Lamborghini. In this video, we're going to explore the history of the 1998 P quarter, why some of them are worth just pocket change, while others have become million-dollar treasures. You'll also learn what to look for and how to know if you're holding one of the most valuable quarters ever minted. Let's start with a little bit of background. The Washington quarter has been part of the United States coinage since 1932. It was originally introduced to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington, the nation's first president. The front of the coin features Washington's profile, designed by sculptor John Flanagan, and the reverse side, up until 1998, features an eagle with wings spread and arrows in its talons. This is important because 1998 was the final year this classic eagle reverse was used. The following year, in 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, introducing a new reverse design for each state, so that makes the 1998 P quarter the very last of its kind. It's the end of an era, and that alone makes it significant to collectors. Now, let's talk about the details of the 1998 P quarter. The P mint mark means the coin was minted in Philadelphia. In total, the Philadelphia Mint struck over 896 million of these quarters in 1998. That makes it a very common coin in general circulation. Most 1998 P quarters are only worth their face value, 25 cents, even in decent condition. But like many coins, a small number of these have rare features or unusual errors that make them incredibly valuable. This brings us to the million-dollar question. Literally, is it true that a 1998 P quarter has sold for $1.2 million? Yes, but let me explain how that happened. The coin that sold for such a staggering price was no ordinary quarter. It was a mint error coin, and not just any error. It was a transitional error involving a wrong planchet, possibly struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. These types of errors are extremely rare and highly sought after. When combined with near-perfect condition and professional grading, the value of the coin can explode. The rare 1998 P quarter that reached over $1 million at auction had three things going for it. First, it was a mint error. Second, it was graded at an almost flawless mint state 68 or higher. And third, it had become the target of a serious bidding war between two high-end collectors, each determined to own it at any cost. When rare errors and collector demand come together, the price tag can become jaw-dropping. Now, here's what you really want to know. How to tell if your 1998 P quarter could be worth more than pocket change. There are several key features and conditions that can dramatically increase the value of your coin. Let's go through them one by one. First, check the mint mark. Make sure the coin has a P mint mark, indicating it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. You'll find this just to the right of Washington's ponytail on the obverse side of the coin. Second, inspect the coin for any signs of mint errors. Look for things like double die errors, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, or coins that look like they have the wrong metal composition. These types of errors are extremely rare, but they do happen. In particular, some 1998 P quarters have been found struck on planchets used for foreign coins or other denominations, such as dimes or nickels. These transitional errors are very valuable. Third, examine the condition of the coin. In the world of coin collecting, condition is everything. Coins are graded on a 70-point scale, and anything graded mint state 65 and above is considered uncirculated. Mint states 67 and 68 are extremely rare. A 1998 P quarter in mint state 68 condition is worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, even without an error. Add an error to that, and you're looking at potentially tens or hundreds of thousands. The rarest ones, like the $1 million example, combine all of these features. Fourth, consider getting the coin professionally graded. If you suspect you have a high-grade or error coin, the best thing you can do is send it to a reputable grading service. The top two services in the United States are PCGS, the Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. A professional grading and certification can make all the difference in the value of your coin and help you sell it with confidence if you ever choose to. Now let's talk about market values. While not every 1998 P quarter is going to make you rich, here are some numbers to keep in mind that a regular 1998 P quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents. An uncirculated version in mint state 65 might bring in $5 to $10 at mint state 67. The coin could sell for as much as $50 to $100 at mint state 68. Values jump dramatically, reaching hundreds or even thousands of dollars, and if your coin has a verified mint error, especially something like a transitional strike or an off-metal error, the value could range from $5,000 to $50,000 or more. And of course, if your coin happens to be that 1 in a billion example with multiple errors, perfect condition, and the attention of serious collectors, the value could reach the legendary 1.2 million mark. So the big takeaway here is this: never assume your loose change is worthless. Coins like the 1998 P Washington quarter are hiding in plain sight. They might be sitting in your drawer, your car console, or a forgotten jar in the back of your closet. All it takes is one lucky find and a little bit of knowledge to turn something ordinary into something life-changing. To wrap it all up, the 1998 P Washington quarter may be one of the most overlooked coins in recent history. It was the last of the Eagleback quarters before the start of the state quarters program, which already gives it historical importance. Combine that with rare errors, pristine condition, and strong collector interest, and you've got the recipe for a coin that could be worth not just a little, but possibly over $1 million. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more videos about rare coins, hidden treasures, and collecting tips. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any updates. And if you've ever found a rare or unusual coin, let us know in the comments below. You never know, your story might be featured in an upcoming episode. Until next time, keep checking your change and happy collecting. Let me know if you'd like to turn this into a full video production outline, add a script for an intro and outro animation, or include a short version for YouTube Shorts. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about a coin that most people completely overlook. It's not old, it's not gold, and it looks just like every other coin you've probably handled thousands of times. I'm talking about the 1997 D Washington quarter, a coin that most people would pass over without a second glance. But what if I told you that one version of this quarter has been reported to sell for as much as $1.1 million? That's right. A 25-cent coin that you might find in your change could actually be worth more than a house, more than a Lamborghini, and in some cases, more than your entire yearly salary. In this video, we're going to dive into the full history of the 1997 D quarter, why some of them are so valuable, how to tell if you have one of the rare ones, and what to do next if you think your coin might be worth a fortune. Let's get into it. First, let's go back to the history of the Washington quarter. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932, originally as a one-year commemorative coin to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president, George Washington. The front of the coin, known as the obverse, features a profile of Washington himself, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. It became so popular with the public that it was adopted as the permanent design and remained largely unchanged for decades. From 1932 to 1998, the reverse of the coin featured a majestic eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows. This version of the quarter is often referred to as the heraldic eagle design. In 1999, the U.S. Mint launched the 50-state quarters program, which changed the reverse design every year. So coins from 1997, like the one we're talking about today, are part of the last group of traditional eagle-back quarters. Now let's talk specifically about the 1997 D quarter. The D stands for Denver, which means the coin was minted at the Denver Mint facility. That year, the Denver Mint struck over 599 million Washington quarters. So by no means is the 1997 D quarter considered rare based on mintage numbers alone. Most of these coins are still floating around in circulation and are worth exactly what they say, 25 cents. But here's where things get interesting. That a very small number of 1997 D quarters were struck with rare mint errors that make them extremely valuable to collectors. Combine that with top-grade condition, and you've got a coin that has shocked the collecting world with prices as high as $1.1 million. Let's break down exactly what makes a 1997 D quarter worth that kind of money. The million-dollar version of the 1997 D quarter had a few key features that made it truly one of a kind. First, it was a mint error coin. Not a small one either. We're talking about a dramatic, visible, 1 in a billion error that involved a double strike and a misaligned die. These kinds of errors happen when something goes wrong during the striking process at the mint. Sometimes a coin is struck twice. Sometimes it's not centered correctly. And in extremely rare cases, the coin is struck on the wrong metal blank. What collectors call a wrong planchet error. In the case of the million-dollar 1997 D quarter, it was struck on a planchet mint for another coin, possibly a foreign denomination or a different U.S. coin, creating a one-of-a-kind anomaly. The second major factor is the coin's condition. The highest values are reserved for coins in pristine, mint-state condition. In grading terms, we're talking MS-67, MS-68, or even MS-69. That means the coin has never been in circulation and shows virtually no signs of wear, damage, or even handling. For a 1997 coin, finding something that perfect is nearly impossible, and that's why collectors are willing to pay so much when one shows up. Third, the coin had been professionally graded and authenticated by a top-tier grading service like PCGS or NGC. That official certification gave collectors confidence that they were looking at a real and extremely rare piece of minting history. Now that you know the backstory, let's get into what you should be looking for. You might be wondering, could I have one of these in my collection or pocket right now? Here's how you check. Step 1. Check the mint mark. You need to look for a small D on the obverse side of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That indicates the coin came from the Denver Mint. Step 2. Examine the coin carefully for any signs of a mint error. You're looking for things like doubling of the letters or numbers, especially around the word liberty, the date, or the phrase "In God We Trust." You should also look for off-center strikes, extra metal around the rim, or anything that looks unusual or out of place. If the coin feels lighter or heavier than normal, that could be a sign it was struck on a wrong planchet. Step 3. Look at the condition. Is the coin scratched up, worn down, or dull? If so, it's probably only worth face value. But if it has a clean surface, a strong shine, and sharp details, you may be holding something special. Step 4. Get the coin evaluated. If you really think you've got a rare 1997 D quarter, the best thing you can do is send it to a professional coin grading service. They'll not only confirm whether it's a genuine mint error, but also tell you exactly what condition it's in. That information is critical if you plan to sell the coin or insure it. Now let's talk about what these coins are actually selling for. But a regular 1997 D quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents. An uncirculated version in Mint State 65 can be worth $10 to $20 at Mint State 67. Values can rise into the $50 to $100 range. Coins graded at MS-68 or above can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars, depending on their rarity. Mint error versions, especially those with confirmed wrong planchets, major strike errors, or double dies, can fetch $5,000, $10,000, or even more. In the rarest, most dramatic example of all, authenticated and sold through a major auction house, reportedly reached a price tag of $1.1 million. That's the power of rarity, condition, and demand coming together in one incredible coin. The next time you go through your change, don't ignore that old quarter sitting at the bottom of your drawer. Take a closer look. What seems like a regular coin could be a hidden treasure worth more than most people make in a year. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more videos on rare coins, hidden treasures, and everything you need to know about collecting. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin, and let us know what you're hoping to find next. Until next time, happy hunting and keep checking your change. Would you like a version with visual cues, SEO titles, or YouTube description text to go along with the video? I can also create a condensed version for YouTube Shorts or TikTok. Welcome back to the channel. Today's video could literally change your life. Imagine holding something in your hand that looks like it's worth 25 cents, but is actually worth over $1 million. That's right. We're talking about the 1995 D. Washington quarter, a coin that millions of people overlook every single day. Yet some rare versions of it have been valued at prices as high as $1.3 million. Now, before you rush to dig through your change jar or the back of your car seat, let's go over the real story behind this coin. We'll dive into its history, how it became so valuable, and most importantly, what to look for so you can know if the quarter in your hand is one of the rare million-dollar ones. First, let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is one of the most iconic coins in United States history. It was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design was only intended to be used for 1 year, but it became so popular, it ended up becoming the permanent design for the quarter for more than 60 years. The front of the coin features the left-facing profile of George Washington, and the back showcases an eagle with outstretched wings. Now fast forward to 1995. The Denver Mint produced over 1.1 billion Washington quarters that year. That means if you have any pocket change from the late 90s or early 2000s, there's a good chance a 1995 D quarter is in there somewhere. Most of these coins are worth only their face value, 25 cents. But there's a twist. Out of those billion-plus coins, only a handful have some extremely rare features that turn them into numismatic gold. These rare 1995 D quarters come with a combination of mint errors, superior condition, and high collector demand. When all three of these factors come together, the value of the coin skyrockets. And in one unbelievable case, the value reached over $1.3 million at auction. What makes a coin worth that much money? Let's break it down. The most valuable 1995 D quarter ever recorded came with a perfect storm of features. First, it had a mint error that made it completely unique. This error is called a double die strike. It's when the coin's image is stamped more than once, slightly off each time, creating a doubled appearance in the lettering or the date. In some cases, this is most visible around the words "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" on the front of the coin. On the back, you might see doubling in United States of America or E pluribus unum. Next, the coin was in an incredibly high grade. We're talking mint state 68. That means the coin had never been in circulation and had almost no flaws visible under magnification. A coin in that condition is almost perfect. Out of billions of coins, only a handful ever survive in that kind of pristine state. And finally, what made this particular quarter so valuable was the demand. Serious collectors are always hunting for coins that are both rare and in top condition. When two or more collectors are determined to own the same coin, bidding wars happen. And that's exactly what drove the price of this 1995 D quarter up to $1.3 million at a major auction. Now you're probably wondering, how do I know if I have one of these coins? Here's what you need to look for. First, check the front of the coin and locate the date. If it says 1995 and has a small d underneath the words "In God We Trust," then you've got the right mint mark. That D stands for Denver Mint. Second, look closely at the lettering. If you see any signs of doubling in the letters or the date, it could be a double die error. You might need a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe to see the fine details. Third, examine the condition of the coin. If it has no scratches, no wear and tear, and still has that fresh luster like it just came off the press, you might be holding an uncirculated coin. Coins that have never been used are the ones that can be graded the highest, and the higher the grade, the more valuable it becomes. Fourth, if you think your coin has potential, the smartest next step is to get it graded by a professional service. The two most respected services are PCGS, which stands for Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, which is the Numismatic Guarantee Corporation. These services can tell you exactly what condition your coin is in and whether it has any rare features like mint errors or doubling. Even if your coin doesn't end up being worth over $1 million, a rare 1995 D quarter in mint state condition can still fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars depending on its grade. For example, a 1995 D quarter graded MS-67 has sold for over $500. MS-68 examples, which are extremely rare, have reached prices well into the thousands. And the beauty of all this is that you don't need to spend a penny to start. These coins are still out there. In change, in old coin jars, in inherited collections, and even hidden between your couch cushions. Everyday people are discovering valuable coins without even realizing what they're holding. So the big question is, could you be the next person to find a 1995 D quarter worth a life-changing amount of money? It's possible, but it takes a sharp eye, a little bit of knowledge, and sometimes a lot of luck. What's most important is knowing what to look for and where to look. So the next time you're about to toss your spare change into a tip jar or vending machine, take a moment and check. You never know what might be hiding in plain sight. Thanks for watching, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and tap that notification bell so you never miss a chance to learn about rare coins and hidden treasures. Leave a comment below and tell us if you've ever found a rare coin, or if you're going to start checking your quarters more closely after this. Who knows, maybe your story will be the next million-dollar discovery that will see you in the next video. And until then, happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a version optimized for SEO, with an intro script for Shorts or TikTok, or one tailored for a younger or older audience. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a coin that you've probably seen hundreds of times, and maybe even have in your change right now. I'm talking about the 1990 P Washington quarter. At first glance, it looks like any regular quarter, the kind you might toss into a vending machine or forget in your car's cup holder. But what if I told you that one rare version of this coin has reportedly sold for a jaw-dropping $1.4 million? Yes, you heard that right. A coin that originally cost 25 cents has become one of the most valuable Washington quarters in existence. In this video, we're going to break down the full history of the 1990 P quarter, how to spot a valuable one, and what makes this particular year and mint mark so special. You'll learn everything you need to know, from design features and minting details to what collectors are paying today for the rarest examples. Let's jump right into the story. First, let's talk about the Washington quarter itself. This coin has been a key part of U.S. currency since 1932. It was introduced to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington, the first president of the United States. The original design was created by sculptor John Flanagan, and it features a profile of Washington on the front, or obverse side, of the coin. The reverse, up until 1998, displayed a majestic eagle with outstretched wings perched on a bundle of arrows, a symbol of strength and preparedness. This classic design ran all the way through 1998, when it was replaced by the 50-state quarters program. So the 1990 P quarter falls well within that traditional eagleback era and is part of a beloved chapter in American numismatic history. Now, let's focus specifically on the 1990 P quarter. The P mint mark means this coin was struck at the Philadelphia Mint. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 613 million Washington quarters. So, by all accounts, the 1990 P is not a rare coin in terms of how many were made. You can still find them in circulation today. In fact, most 1990 P quarters that you'll come across are only worth their face value, just 25 cents. But here's where the story gets interesting: that a very small number of 1990 P quarters were struck with rare mint errors. Some of these errors were so unique and significant that they turned an ordinary coin into a collector's dream. In one specific and extremely rare case, a 1990 P quarter combined a mint error, a unique strike, and a near-perfect grade, and it reportedly sold for an astonishing $1.4 million at auction. Let's talk about what made that coin so special. First, it featured a dramatic mint error. Mint errors can take many forms, but the rarest and most valuable types include double dies, off-center strikes, wrong planchet errors, or coins struck on metal blanks meant for other denominations. In the case of the $1 million 1990 P quarter, it was believed to have been struck on a planchet used for a different coin, possibly a foreign coin or a transitional blank. This kind of error is nearly impossible to fake and almost always occurs by accident in the production process. Second, the coin was in absolutely pristine condition. It was graded by a professional coin grading service as mint state 68 or higher. That's nearly flawless. To give you some perspective, most coins coming out of the mint today won't even grade that high. Finding a coin from 1990, more than 30 years ago, in such perfect condition is almost unheard of. Third, the coin was professionally certified by a trusted grading service such as PCGS or NGC. Without that certification, collectors would never risk paying high amounts for a coin, no matter how good it looks. Once a coin is certified as a mint error and given a top-grade rating, it can enter the high-end auction market where serious collectors are willing to pay big money to. Oh, how did the coin reach $1.4 million? It comes down to a perfect storm of rarity, condition, collector interest, and auction dynamics. When you combine a confirmed mint error with a nearly perfect grade, and then put it in front of the right audience of elite collectors, the price can skyrocket. It's not just about the metal. It's about history, uniqueness, and demand. Now the big question on your mind is this. How do you know if your 1990 P quarter could be valuable? Here's what to look for. Start by locating the mint mark. On Washington quarters, the mint mark is on the front of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. A P means it was minted in Philadelphia. If you see a D or an S, it came from a different mint and falls into a different category. Next, inspect the coin carefully for signs of errors. Look for doubling on the letters or numbers, especially in the word liberty, the date, or the phrase "In God We Trust." Look for off-center strikes, extra metal around the rim, or an unusually shiny or dull appearance. If something about the coin looks off, it might be an error, and that could be a good thing. Then consider the condition. If the coin is scratched, worn, or faded, it's probably only worth face value. But if it looks brand new, has no visible wear, and still has a strong luster, it could be uncirculated. Uncirculated coins are the ones that hold the highest value among collectors. And finally, get it professionally graded if you think it could be special. PCGS and NGC are the two most trusted grading services in the coin collecting world. For a small fee, they will evaluate your coin, determine its condition, and tell you whether it has any unique errors or features. Now let's talk about what these coins are really selling for today. That a standard 1990 P quarter in circulated condition is worth 25 cents in uncirculated condition, with a grade of mint state 63 to 65. The coin could sell for $2 to $5 at higher grades like MS67 or MS68. Prices can jump into the hundreds or even low thousands if the coin has a confirmed mint error, such as a double die or off-metal strike. Values can rise dramatically, sometimes hitting 5,000, 10,000, or more in the rarest of rare cases, like the unique 1990 P quarter with multiple errors and a nearly perfect grade. The value reached a staggering $1.4 million, so is it likely you have $1 million coin in your change jar? Probably not. But is it possible? Absolutely. Coins like this do exist, and someone has to find them. Every major coin discovery starts with one thing. Someone who was curious enough to look at SO. The next time you're counting quarters, pay attention to the year, the mint mark, and any unusual features. Take your time. What looks like an ordinary coin could turn out to be something extraordinary. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or interesting, make sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more content on rare coins, collecting tips, and the hidden value of everyday items. Turn on notifications so you never miss a discovery. And leave a comment below. Let us know if you've ever found a strange or valuable coin, or what rare treasure you hope to find one day. Until next time, keep checking your change and happy hunting. Let me know if you'd like a matching YouTube description, a short version for TikTok or YouTube Shorts, or a title and thumbnail idea to boost video engagement.